Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy and I help people with their breakups. And today I'm going to talk to you about if your ex will come back out of a rebound when you've been in no contact. This was a requested video. I just did this gentleman's story. It was very brief about how he broke up and how he's doing, and how it was really strange to him that his ex actually is in a new relationship and how quick she moved on. And unfortunately, like I said in the past video, it's not strange at all. That's just your way of dealing with it. She met someone else, she broke up with you, and now you're saying, wow, that's really strange that she'd move on so fast. It's not strange, it happens a lot. Don't take it that you're a bad person. And she even said she still wanted to be friends. So she still had affection for him, she still cared about him, but she's moved on for the time being. So let's talk about the topic at hand, because I think a lot of people would be interested in this, and this is a good topic to bring up. Out of the no contact, your ex gets a new partner or seeing someone new, is moving on, and such as this guy where they're on Facebook together and she's introduced the family. First of all, if you're in no contact, you shouldn't know any of that. Rule number one, you shouldn't know any of that. If you come across that information, let's say through a mutual friend, let's say, oh, by accident on Facebook, even though I don't have them friended, I just kind of looked on their thing. That's not a healthy way to do things in the no contact. But let's just say you come across that information, hopefully without trying. First of all, really think about how you feel about that. First of all, it's going to hurt that they're with someone new. Second of all, you're going to be comparing yourself to that person that they're with. This is what humans do. If you were better than them, if they're good looking, if they have more money. And I've heard this many times because people are like, oh, she got a new girlfriend, the guy's rich. Oh, she got a new boyfriend, the guy works out at the gym religiously, he's got a great body. I've heard this in emails where I've been back and forth and in coaching sessions. And you don't want to know any of that, and you don't want to compare. And here's the thing, like, I'll go back to the one about the rich guy. This guy, he really hung up on that because where he's from in the world, it's really, really respected to be rich. And so immediately that was his thing, like, that's why this guy's better than me. And I'm like, doesn't mean they're going to have a better relationship, right? It doesn't mean that's what turned her on about him. It's just that the guy's rich, right? Do rich guys attract more women? Yeah, probably. I don't know the stats on that, but the fact that you just assume that they're going to have this rosy, great relationship because he's rich is not true. So let's say that they're coming out of that relationship, right? It has to do with timing. So if they got out, they broke up with you, or you broke up with them, whatever, you're in no contact. To work on yourself, which is my mantra, to work on yourself. And if they come back, it's a bonus, not because, oh, and then maybe I'll just throw on these pictures on Facebook and hopefully they see them and get jealous and come back to me. No, 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 no. That's not what you come to my channel for, okay? Because I hear this all the time. And there's always an angle. Well, is she going to come back? Well, is she going to change? No, that's not where you're at. You're working on yourself. If she comes back, it's a bonus. Now, let me give you a couple examples of friends. These weren't stories that were sent in to me. These were stories that were told to me when I was going through my breakup. And one of the stories was a buddy of mine when he was in university. He went to UC Santa Barbara, which is a very nice school in a very nice area of Southern California. And it's also, students when they're in university, most of them are promiscuous. You have all these 20 to 25-year-olds in college. Your hormones are at the highest level. There's a lot of cheating going on. There's a lot of breakups going on. That's just the way it is. So he said he was in a relationship with his girlfriend. I think it was about a year and a half or 2 years, and he said they were very close. And they're just great chemistry, great sex, great friendship, if you call it that. They just got on really well. And he caught her cheating, point blank. He had a suspicion about some guy. And in this area of Santa Barbara, there's just a lot of partying going on. If anyone knows UC Santa Barbara and this university's lifestyle, it's known as a party school. And I think what happened was he walked in on her literally in a room, hooking up with the guy at a house party. And it shocked him, it hurt him, and he just walked out immediately. Walked out. She ran after him, and then they had it out a few days later, and she broke up with him. And he broke up with her. I think it was kind of mutual, but she kind of broke up with him. And after witnessing it in person with your own eyes, he said that just made him angry immediately, that he took it personal. And he said the dude was a cool guy, it wasn't like she was hooking up with like some guy that he didn't compare himself to. He looked at the guy and was like, this guy was getting a lot of women. It's a good looking guy, basically. Had a lot going for him. That's the way he told me. So he just chalked it up. He was working at a gym at the time, I think selling memberships, and was at university, so he had his part-time job. He's still feeling good about himself because he had other things going on. And being in that environment and those demographics, he was able to meet women the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. And he said he was still hurting inside, but he cranked up his gym action, where he said like all of a sudden within 2 months he had a six-pack. Like he just went all out. He put his time into those other things. And he said he completely ignored her and cut her off. And she wanted to be a friend, of course. And he's like, I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. I was just done. I was done. He goes, don't get me wrong. I missed her, right? But he goes, I was done. And then I think it was like three and a half months down the road, he said she just came to his door and was like crying and wanted to get back together and said she missed him so much. And he had to decide at that point, do I want to take her back? She's already hooked up with another guy. She's cheated on me once. He had to think about it. Said he took her back. So in this case, I don't know if that would be a rebound, because I don't know that his girlfriend was actually with the other guy, if they were just seeing each other. But over those 3 months and with no contact, she came back at his doorstep crying and wanting him back, all in. And he was at a peak moment. Like I said, he was going to the gym. He still was going to school. He was in a good place, right? And he would run into her around campus and just ignore her. Wouldn't he? Like, some people think that's being mean. No, it's moving on. It's moving on. It's going like, you know what? It's not that was a relationship. It didn't serve me. I felt like I was wronged in that. It's over. It's done. I'm moving on. That's attractive. That's attractive. Being silent is attractive in those cases, rather than, oh, hey, how's it going? And try to have a fake conversation. So she came back to him. I think they stayed together for another year, he said, and then the same issue came up. That's the thing. That's the thing. She cheated. I think he cheated after that because he always thought she would be one to do it. So like they got back together, but their issue was still underneath the whole situation, if that makes sense. I mean, they got back together, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't as committed a relationship. They both had sneaking suspicions about the other, because that's the thing about people that cheat. They often think, I cheat, so you probably do the same. So they get jealous a lot of times. It's very true. Okay, I'll tell you about one other one. This was a friend of the family, and he actually had a child with his fiance. It was his fiance and high school sweetheart, and so they got together. I think 17 or 18 years old. Like I said, high school sweethearts, and they had a kid early, like a year later, and then they were together for the next 4 or 5 years, and all of a sudden, his fiance, once he committed and he was all in, she said she didn't like his lifestyle. He was drinking a lot still and going out and partying with friends. Kind of had a rough lifestyle. When I mean rough, not coming home at night sometimes. I think, doing some drugs probably. And she had enough. She called him out on it. And for him, it was more about maturity. So anyways, he went back to her. He pleaded his case. He said, I'll be better, brought her flowers and everything. And then finally he said, all right, that's it. You made your choice. I'm not going to beg and plead for them. He did this for a week or something, he said. It was totally out of character for him. And he said from then on, he just went into complete no contact. And when he went into no contact, even with the kid, he took his responsibility of his child seriously. and that he had his mom as an intermediate as far as like bringing the kid over, or he had a little sister that would help, and he didn't want any direct contact with her. He wanted to make a statement that he did not want to see or talk to her. And she went out of her way to like just, well, like, we have to talk. And he was like, no, we don't. Now, this is extreme, and I'm not going to suggest this is someone that has kids, because there are times when you need to talk to your child's parent. It's very difficult to just cut them off completely, but he was able to do it as his mom was willing to be in the middle, and his little sister was. And I believe he did this for 6 months. She showed up sobbing at the door, begging. And he said that when she showed up, she looked like she hadn't eaten in a while. She didn't look herself. She had been depressed. And she just had enough of the no contact. She couldn't deal with it anymore. Now, was she seeing someone when they broke up? He'll never know. Did she rebound off someone? He'll never know, because he was in straight no contact the whole time. And he said the same thing. He said, you know what? When she came back, I had to think about it. I had to sit down. It wasn't like I took her in my arms. I said, look, he originally said, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work, because I won't go through this again. It hurt in the beginning, but now I'm on my way. Same thing. He went to the gym. He got a new job. He had improved himself. He was going out with friends, doing other things. So he just said, like, I'm not sure. Did he take her back? Yeah. And they ended up getting married, and they were together for a while. Had a few more kids. So in that case, it worked. But I believe personally, if your ex is seeing someone else and you know about it, and you witness it, and you were close, if you were together like 3, 4, 5 years, I think after that point, you can't get back together. That'll always be on your mind, that they were basically hooking up with someone else. They're sleeping with someone else. And even though you were broken up and they had every right to, when you get back together, you're going to think that's going to happen again. You're going to get more jealous. So in order for you to get back with a rebound, I think the smoke has to clear for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Does it happen? Absolutely. I'll tell you when it does happen is when someone says, oh, I want to take a break because I want to see what else is out there. They might not say that to you directly, but they'll say, basically, and this happens in a lot of relationships that are early 20s. A woman will go out with friends, and they'll all of a sudden say, wow, I just don't have a lot of life experience and stuff. I want to see what it's like to date other guys. And then they go out, the first guy they meet breaks their heart, and or is a bad relationship, and then they go straight back to their ex. Now, how do you feel if you're the ex? I wouldn't feel good about that. And it would always be on my mind, like you were sleeping with this other guy, and then you got to hear about the problems with the other guy. And I would think, like, this is going to happen again. And it's on her end, it's weak and needy behavior. And you flip it around, if it's the guy, I don't even think most women will take a guy back if he does that. Let's say the guy, broke up with the girl, goes out with someone else, then comes all the way back. Now, I'll give you one last story. This is actually a female that I knew, that I worked with for a long time. And she had her first serious boyfriend. I think he was 23 or 24, and she was probably 20 at the time. He had a girlfriend at the time when he was kind of seeing her on the side. Broke up with his girlfriend to get with her. They ended up in a long-term relationship. When I mean long-term, like it's like 4 or 5 years. And she was really happy with him, as far as I knew. Like I said, we were friends. We weren't like best friends or something like that. We were coworkers, and we'd touch base once a month or something like that. And then when she broke up with this guy, or should I say he broke up with her, he actually left her for his ex. So he left his ex for her. Then about 4.5 years later, he rekindled things with that ex and left her for that woman before. Now, here's the thing. She shouldn't be that surprised, because he's done it before. It's a pattern behavior where he's going to go on to the next, right? And what he did to my friend, he had done to his ex prior to, right? So in that particular case, obviously the ex had forgiven him and taken him on, but I mean, what's to say he's not going to do that again and again and again? A lot of times people follow patterns. People tell you who they are by their actions, not what they say, if that makes sense. Okay, I hope that helps. Please visit writemac.com if you want to book a live coaching session with me, or if you want to send me your breakup story and get my take in a video. Thank you.